It is said the only constant is change in college football, but over more than 150 chance to win. And boy, do we have guys who can do that in this one. Welcome, everyone, to Williams-Brice Stadium, home of the South Carolina squad, hoping to prevent another L this week, the South Carolina Gamecocks. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth by David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, let's get this thing started. Auburn will kick it off to get things started. And he hauls it in, and everybody's on the edge of their seats. And a really nice job by the kick team to get down there and make sure they limit that return. So South Carolina's offense will be first on the attack. And we've been really eager to see this matchup, this quarterback against an elite defense. Jesse, what does a quarterback have to keep in mind when you face a group like this?
Well, he's just going to have to be dialed in. He's had a lot of success this year so far. This is a different animal than this defense he's playing. He's got to be really good with his decision-making, throwing it, running it, pre-snap, post-snap. If you make one mistake against this defense, David, they make you pay.
Yeah, they're a fun defense to watch, and this is a fun challenge for their defense, too, because it's an elite quarterback, right? Like, they can make you look like you're not as good as you've been all season long, so I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup and who wins it.
Fires to the middle. Incomplete. He had to get rid of it before he wanted to. The defense put the heat on. The Gamecocks come to the line on 3rd and short, trying to keep the drive alive. Wants to throw on 3rd down. Intercepted, and might be overturned. Let's see what the call is. So the offense, more than happy with the result of the play, will decline the penalty. This crowd bringing the energy and noise early. Gets it out fast. Down to the 32 and out of bounds right there. A little bit more to go after that last completion. They'll try to pick it up on 2nd down. Quarterback on the keeper. Look out, he's got room.
This is an offense that can move the sticks in a whole lot of different ways. Now you're seeing it on the option here. Great job by the quarterback. Reading the defense, there's nobody there taking him, so he puts his foot in the ground, he gets upfield, and he's got really nice elusiveness once he's out in the open field. He shows you that on that explosive play, picking up the first.
He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. The run up the middle, trying to power to the goal line. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. It's 3rd and goal and 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Knocked away, incomplete in the end zone. Now on 4th down, they'll try to come away with 3. This whole place going to see if this kicker can operate in a sea of noise. And the kicker delivers the 3 to salvage that drive. And that'll put the first points of the game on the board. It's 3-0. They were able to get a field goal on the board, and now they'll kick it away. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. And the South Carolina offense is back on the field. That last drive ended with an interception, and this time it's paramount they take care of the ball. And they'll shove him out of bounds after the short gain. Plenty of distance between them and the sticks here on 2nd down. He'll do it himself. Gets it past the marker. Chain gang on the move. It'll be a first down at the 29. Use the play fake. Now to throw. Just a short pass to the tight end. Ripping off a pretty good chunk of yardage. They got it out to the 41 with a first down. The give to the back. And he has a solid gain before the defense bottles him up. Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. They'll run it out of the shotgun. Nice stiff arm there, but the defense still able to stop him for a short gain. And the Gamecocks come to the line on 3rd down, trying to keep this drive alive. He'll pull it on the read. And the ball is out. Who's going to get it? Oh, and he's able to get the ball back, but he does lose yardage on the play. And he was called on 3 times in that loss last week. And the punt team able to sling him to the ground. And Auburn is ready to go back to work on offense. They had to settle for the chip shot field goal last time, Jesse. They'd love for this one to pay off. There he goes. He rumbles out to the 39-yard line before he's steered out of bounds. They'll snap it from the 39, 1st and 10. Might as well run him until they stop him. He's got it again.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
A little screen to the running back. Huge play there into plus territory, and they'll mark him out of bounds at the 46. Here comes Auburn to the line on 1st and 10. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Finds his tight end. Just what they were looking for, and he's got him set up in business at the 35 with a 1st down. Looking to throw on 1st down. Quickly out to the tight end. What will they dial up on 2nd, and a long way to go. Got his man. He'll step out of bounds right at the 27. It's as if you're engulfed in a space odyssey. Williams-Brice alive on 3rd down. They'll try to get the first through the air. Gets it to him on the screen. Just across the 20 with a 1st down at the 19. Auburn doing business in the red zone. He'll keep it himself. And this one will be stopped for no gain. This drive facing a little adversity on 2nd and 11. Back to pass. Here's a heat. Incomplete. And man, is he lucky to get that one back. Defense that close to an interception. This crowd knows this defense needs them right now. On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. And it's a touchdown, but hold on just a second. We'll have to see what the flag's about. So that touchdown nullified by the penalty in the red zone. On 3rd and long, he's going to have to turn one loose downfield. It's complete to the right. And he's ridden to the ground, but there's also a flag down. Let's check the call. They'll decline that penalty, obviously very happy with the results of the play. So they'll send out the field goal unit. This crowd trying to do its part to get inside the kicker's head. And that is no good. Guys, a missed opportunity there. The lead is still 3. The 42-yard field goal that was no good gives them the ball back at the 25-yard line. Working that left side now. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line. Quarterback on the keeper. Knocked down behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard. Lost 1 on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Looking to fire. The screen. He can go. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the 1st down. Let's see what they find in the playbook for 3rd and long from the 43. From the gun. Wants to pass. Quickly to the tight end. And he's knocked down immediately, but not before he moves the chains. The Gamecocks are moving quickly down the field. Wants to throw on first down. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on first down. Plenty of work to do here on second and long. Couldn't connect on first down, now back to the air. They've got the screen set up. Make the stop at the 40, but it's a 10-yard gain and a fresh set of downs. And they picked up 9 on first down. It'll bring up second and short. As they get set to snap it, just about to reach the end of the quarter. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. And a good pickup to move the chains, and the clock will expire, and that's how they'll be set up to start the second quarter. That's the end of the quarter, and Auburn has the lead. 1 period in the books, and let's take a look at the stats. Lots of time left, and we're ready to get back to it and open the second period. They've got a first down here to open the period. On first down, read option to the right. Pulled down after a nice run, and they're in the red zone at the 19. And the Gamecocks in a good spot here with second and short. They'll leave it with him. Can't get him to the ground.
Well, they're trying to run the football there, just nowhere to go. They got dominated up front at the point of attack.
They're going to go to the air on third and short. Quick strike complete. He's forced out of bounds just short of the goal line, a mere yard away from pay dirt. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The Gamecocks trying to cash it in on first and goal. Now on the option. He'll pitch it. Touchdown, South Carolina! Great job by the back on the option.
You got to be so disciplined when you play the option. You got to keep your eyes on your guy. They lost track of the pitch, man. The quarterback pitches it to him. He takes it in the house. Got to be a little bit more sound on defense.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And the extra point makes it 7-3. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Guys, you can make a case this is the game of the week in the SEC. LSU is currently up big right now in a game they'll be talking about in Death Valley for some time. They're up by 24 over Mississippi State. Week in and week out in the SEC, it's a battle.
Turning it on! And they get him down at the 43, but this is the kind of explosive play you want to build on.
And in this offense, you know, as a quarterback, you're going to get opportunities to put up some pretty big numbers. You've been impressed watching this guy play early this year. With that last pass completion, he's now already over 2,000 yards on the season.
This offense has been sluggish, to say the least, but finally they're on the move on first and 10. Send the tight end in motion. Rides the back and leaves it on the option. Open space at the 25. Bust through behind his pad. Touchdown, Auburn. Excellent pass by the back on the option. There's a reason they call this dude a big playmaker. Moments just like that one.
Big-time playmaker. Can make plays all over the field from all different spots. That's why you got to find ways to give him touches as much as possible, because he'll make it happen.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point puts them up by a field goal. They wasted no time on that drive. Got it on their 25, and 2 plays later, they're in the end zone. And he takes this from inside the 5. And the returner goes down. South Carolina ready to go on the attack in another offensive odyssey. They're still looking for a little more productivity as they trail 10-7. Oh, he was in the backfield immediately. A 3-yard loss. A negative play to open the drive. Let's see what they've got on 2nd and 14. He'll do it himself. Gets away from one. He's got space. This junior making his presence felt and making the stop after a short gain. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. This defense has kept them backed up. Now one more stop, and they can get off the field on 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. And a sack all the way back at the 5.
Well, the defense has the opponent backed up in their own end, and they are pinning their ears back, getting after the quarterback. You see the athleticism and the speed they have up front as they're able to notch that sack.
And the Gamecocks will bring the punt team onto the field. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. Sometimes avoiding disaster is the best thing. The punter just gets it out of there. That's a perfect example of not settling for a fair catch. Pick up whatever yardage you can and help out the offense. The give to the back. Knocked down at the 35 after a pickup of 3. After the productive first down play, it's 2nd and 6. Wants to go up top. Got his man quickly. And a good job of coverage by that defense. Just a short pickup.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in crease now. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly. That's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm.
They'll run it from the gun. And they did not let him reach the line to gain. It'll bring up a decision here. So now on comes the field goal unit. This whole play is going to see if this kicker can operate in a sea of noise. And it's no good. He missed it. It's still a 3-point game after the miss. And the South Carolina offense is back on the field. They hope to be able to cash in on this drive, David, after having to punt it last time. They came out hot on this drive, one play and already near midfield. Looking downfield on first down. He tosses one high and deep down the left side. And the catch and run into the end zone. Touchdown, Gamecocks!
And man, is that perfect timing. You can tell quarterback drops back. He sees his guy, and he knows he's open. But watch the throw. Deep down the field, Palmer, right in the breadbasket. Nice play, nice pitch and catch.
He did a nice job of getting it up in the air early and allowing his guy to run under the football, locate it, and then make a tough grab. That is the definition of an explosive play.
And the extra point is good, and it's a 4-point lead. This offense prides itself on going after you, and they did with that long touchdown pass to finish off a 2-play drive. Looks as if the returner will try and field this one. He was looking for more running room, but none to be found as he stopped at the 23. Now here comes that Auburn offense onto the field again. They put together a pretty good drive the last time they had it, but another missed field goal doomed that effort. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Not a lot of productivity on that last play. They'll try it again on 2nd and long from the 23. Back to pass. Puts it out of the air. And just a short, safe pass play. They pick up a few. As the rooster crows, they are getting cocky and cocky. He lost one down the sideline. And trying to put points on the board on 3rd down. Now they're staring at 4th down. Auburn sends out the punting unit. Signals for the fair catch and hauls it in just shy of the 30. And now this offense will take the field again. He'll pull it on the read. They'll pick up 4, 2nd and 6 coming. Kept it on the ground on 1st down, now back to the line. He'll keep it himself. This junior making his presence felt and making making the stop after a short gain. The Gamecocks really need to keep this drive alive on third down. They'll move the wide receiver. On third and short, they'll try to convert through the air. He's got his man. Such a big part to convert these third downs, and they've got it at the 42. Power football with the run. Got enough for the first down. And excellent vision to find running room there and make a really good pickup before the defense put a stop to it. To the ground. He's got it again.
That's a really good job by the defense, wrapping them up, getting them on the ground. Take away that run game. Make them one-dimensional, put them in passing situations. Really good job by the defense.
The play-action fake. Got it inside the 10. So close to that end zone. He could almost taste it, but it'll be first and goal for this offense.
Well, Reese, you and I were talking about this before the game. How is this defense going to be able to deal with all the speed they have offensively? You saw them just rip off a big play.
And, Jesse, now their head's spinning just a little bit. Give up a big chunk play, and it's right back at him. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Can the defense stop them again on second and goal? He'll run it to the right, looking for the goal line. Going right back to the well, and this time he finds water. Gets it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Bringing the extra beef. It's goal line. I know what I'm going to get. I know what I'm going to do. We're going to be bigger, stronger at the point of attack, push you around, and then the running back does the rest and finds the end zone.
He'll try to tack on one more. Oh, they block it. A 70-yard touchdown drive. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And here's the return. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. So here comes the Auburn offense. To the air on first down. They'll run the screen. Sweet cut there. And he's able to shed one tackle and gets a pretty good pickup. The Tigers in a good spot here with second and short. They'll give it to the back. Plows through the defense. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down. He leaves it with the back. And I think they'll give him 2 on that one. Second and 8 coming up. Stuck with a running game on first down. Now here they come again. Hand off from the gun. Picks up the first down, still moving. Hits the crease. He's at the... And he slipped through the crowd, and he'll house it. Touchdown, Auburn! What an explosive eruption into the end zone by this running back.
And this back does it a lot, that he makes big plays. When you can make big plays like this, it makes everybody's job easier. Oh, we can play action. Oh, we can throw it. But it starts with the run game, and this guy's setting everything up.
The AT unit on the field. And it's up and good as they draw just a touch closer. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, guys, got a final score in a big top 25 matchup today. Penn State handled its business today away from home. What a thorough beatdown. And what poise this generally young team showed. I think even other coaches will point to this one as what's possible. Iron sharpens iron, and you just know a Big Ten matchup like this is going to go a long way in telling the story of each of these teams' seasons.
Yeah, how about that? Sounds as if they had a good ball game there, Kevin. Thanks for the update. Wrestled down at the 32 after a pickup of 5. With a first down, they'll snap it from the 32. The give to the right. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage. Working well behind the sticks on second down. Looking to fire. He's got the tight end. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground covered to pick up the first. The offense will have to use its first timeout of the half. On 3rd and long, trying to convert through the air. And it's incomplete, but there's a flag in the backfield. Let's see who the call's on. So the penalty will not be enforced. The defense declines and stands on the result of the play. And the Gamecocks send out the punt unit. They'll look to pin them deep. Signals for the fair. Looking to throw on 1st down. Using the quick game. Here's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the 1st half. Back to throw, time running short in the half. Quarterback needs to make a better throw there. Incomplete. It's as if you're engulfed in a space odyssey. Williams-Brice alive on 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. Quarterback feeling the pressure, and down he goes at the 22. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. Auburn's going to have to send out the punt team. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. They'll put a stop to that return as he gets it up to the 41-yard line. Wasting no time throwing on this drive. Got his man in the middle. The offense calls timeout, and they won't have any more left this half. The Gamecocks with myriad options after that big pickup on 1st down. Going to swing it on 2nd down. Sets up the screen. And that did not work. Defense smelled that one out from the beginning. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. Fires to the big fella. And boy, is he close to that 1st down, maybe just a couple of inches short. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, you've been calling a lively one so far from there in Columbia. And in this day and age where quarterbacks chuck it all over the field, how refreshing to see 2 offenses rely on off-tackle left, off-tackle right, and even a few halfback dives. Physical offensive lines and elusive backs have told the story. A throwback to the halcyon days of 3 yards and a cloud of dust. With that said, let's send it back to the guys at Williams-Brice.
And the Gamecocks will kick it away to start the 2nd half. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Couldn't find a way to create that broken field as he stopped at the 25. And Auburn is ready to go back to work on offense. They'll open this 3rd quarter with a run. Works ahead for a couple. They'll stop him at the 27. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on 2nd down. Going to the ground. He picks up maybe a couple before he stopped right at the 30-yard line. Ball sitting right at the 30. It'll be 3rd and short. From the gun, wants to pass. Fakes to grab. And he'll move his way forward to the 1st down. They'll mark it at the 35. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Auburn ready to go back to work after getting another 1st down. Wants to go up top on 1st down. Fires to the tight end. And that corner came in hot despite knowing that he was giving up some size. Always nice to have that security blanket of the tight end.
And it's nice to have a tight end that can line up in different areas of the field, too. It's not always going to be in a 3-point stance. He can sometimes be in the backfield. You could flex him out into the slot. They might even try to put this guy out at wide receiver in the split end position and see what he can do there, because this guy is a weapon.
And they'll pick up the 1st down and mark it at the 47. And the Tigers are on the move. Looking to throw on 1st down. Back open in the middle. They get him on the ground at the 37, but give him 15 yards on that chunk play, and they'll move the chains. The inside handoff. Makes it past the marker. They get him stopped, but the big gain has them on the doorstep. Let's mark it at the 13. Motion from the wide receiver. Calls his own number. Short gain on the play before he slides. Second down coming up on this red zone opportunity. Caught behind the line. It's Smalls. And he's wrestled out of bounds after a nice pickup. Auburn comes to the line with a first and goal. Quarterback on the keeper. Touchdown, Tigers. And that one will give them the lead.
Man, you've seen the evolution of the option, and you've seen the evolution with scrambling quarterbacks that can run and be so dynamic and just so much to defend. The quarterback says, forget that. You defend everything, I'll take it myself. In for 6.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And the extra point was good. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. On the run from inside his own 5. And the coverage team gets the returner on the ground. South Carolina ready to go on the attack in another offensive odyssey. Trying to start the drive with a pass. Firing to the right, complete. And they pick up just a few on that completion. Trying to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. It's complete to the left. Really needed a play like that to get out of their own end. They move the chains. They mark it at the 29. The offense set for a first down play. The lone back's got it. Fighting off the defender. Dragged down after a pickup of 5 out to the 35. The Gamecocks can really attack on this second and short. They go to the ground. And he is just engulfed at the line by this giant defensive tackle. They're facing a third down. They'll try to pick it up on the ground. And they did not let him get to that first down line. It'll bring up a call here. And the Gamecocks line up to punt it away. Wants to bring it back. He'll get it to about the 25 before they put a stop to the return. Now here comes that Auburn offense onto the field again. Out of the chute, quick toss to the right. The Tigers with a second and short to keep this drive moving. They'll run it from the gun. Shakes off the defender. Not much he could do there. Does pick up 2 to the 34. As the rooster crows, they not get it. What a stout play by this defense. Punt is in the air. Fair catch is made, and they'll mark it at the 19. And let's see what kind of ball plays this offense has ready. Wants to throw on first down. And the Heat gets there, and they get him down at the 14-yard line.
And as quarterbacks, you've got to be aware of secondary pressure. You've got to know when these free safeties, they start creeping towards the line of scrimmage, that they might get involved. You've got to have an answer for it, and the QB didn't have one that time.
The Gamecocks trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. From the gun, leaves it on the inside with the back. In the backfield again to make the stop. They keep giving him the ball and keep getting nothing for it. On 3rd and long, a check down would be the last resort. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers. And the Gamecocks will send out the punt unit. 3 and out, and not much choice but to get rid of the ball. Fair catch is brought in at the 43, and they are set up nicely. So here comes the Auburn offense. That last drive won't go on the highlight reel after ending in a punt. They'd like to be more productive this time, David.
And I think this offense has to be a little bit more balanced. Find a little balance between the run, Jesse, and working in that pass.
And I think, too, David, it's just going to take a spark. It just takes one play to get this thing picked up and going.
Makes the grab. Just this side of midfield, the defense trying to rise up on 3rd and short from the 49. From the gun, wants to pass. Working the middle. Offense on the move. A big play there. Gets it to the 30. Auburn lines up quickly.
And it's on 3rd downs like this. If you want to attack the middle of the field, you got to look for the tight end. Really nice route. Great job looking that football in. You can tell this quarterback really has a lot of confidence when he's in the pocket looking for the big fella, and they're able to hook up there.
The pull and throw off the RPO. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play. They'll go to work in the air on 2nd down. Touchdown Tigers! Grabbed in the end zone to put 6 on the board. The offense flexes its muscle a bit and widens the gap.
Take a little exhale. You know, you did your job. You got points. Now you put your defense in a position where, hey, go out and get another stop. We're in great shape, so the offense definitely taking care of their business.
They'll try to tack one more on their score. The kick is up and good and put one more on the lead. Let's go to the studio now and check in with Kevin Connors. Kevin, what do you got?
Fellas, a big-time top 25 duel. Let's get right to the pictures. TCU is running away with things, and I'm not sure who saw this coming today from this offense. They're up 14 over Arizona State. We'll circle back if anything changes in this interesting Big 12 matchup. Back to you guys.
And how about that one? Kevin will be keeping an eye on everything going on elsewhere. That was right on the borderline. You want to make that quarterback feel you, but the official thought it was a little too much. Roughing the passer penalty. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. A negative play to open the drive. Let's see what they've got on 2nd and 14. Finds the tight end. They bring him down, but a solid pickup to put them in position to pick up a 1st down. And this offense just can't afford not to get the 1st down here. Already trailing big, and the clock is not their friend. Now the play fake. He'll take a shot. And that'll be incomplete as the pass is knocked away, but there is a penalty flag down. Let's see who it's on.
Hold.
This defense happy with how that last play turned out, so they'll decline the penalty. The Gamecocks will punt it away on 4th down. They're up to a half-dozen kicks today. Just a wall of defenders everywhere he looks, and he's guided out of bounds after a short return. Offense working from the pistol. They'll run it. Got a little space. Got the 1st down and more. Building momentum, picking up a chunk of yardage, moving the chains out to the 34. That's the end of the period, and Auburn has the lead. Let's take a quick look at the national rankings to see how this playoff race is shaping up. Here comes the fourth. Time to see who steps up, who makes the winning plays to take home that W. They go back to work in the final period of this one. Tight end in motion, see how the D reacts. They'll give it to him again. Got enough for the first. And he's brought down after a nice gain. The offense setting up shop at the 46, 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. Unloads to the wideout. Oh, he drops the football. He had it right down the gut of the field. Instead, it'll be 2nd down. Wants to go up top. Under fire. Working on the right. They're ripping off chunks of yardage. They get it to the 33. Auburn to the line in a hurry. He's been so locked in, it seems like any pass call is a guaranteed chunk play.
Yeah, and winning late like this in the ball game, keep trusting, keep sprinting. You know why? Because stats matter late in the game. You want some postseason awards? Keep chucking it, keep getting those stats.
Halfway there on 1st down, it's 2nd and 5. They'll move the tight end. He'll do it himself. Got enough for the 1st down and wants more. Got it into the red zone, dragged down at the 18-yard line. They're threatening to score, and they'll throw it. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on 1st down, 2nd down coming. They're dealing with a 2nd and long. Quick pass on the fly motion. Oh, he's got some space. He's there to make the stop, but not before he sets up this offense. 1st and goal from the 7. And they get him down.
Yeah, he does a really good job being decisive, getting downhill, being a great runner. And guess what? You know how easy offense is when you get me at 2nd and short, 2nd and medium? Everything in the playbook is open to him.
This time he doesn't get loose, and finally the defense gets him bottled up behind the line. They'll try to pass it in on 3rd and goal. Got his man out of the backfield. He did not make it a stone wall on 3rd down. Now on 4th down, they'll send out the field goal unit. What a disappointment. No good. After the miss, the lead still at 11.
Well, everybody in the stadium thought that was an automatic 3. Not so fast. Bad miss by the kicker.
And the South Carolina offense is back on the field. Their drive chart is starting to look a little monotonous. Punt, 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 David.
And their defense is starting to get a little frustrated, too. They just keep putting me back on the field, possession after possession. Jesse, this offense needs to get their heads out of their you-know-whats.
The punter's on the sideline with the oxygen mask right now. He's been playing so much. He's not used to this. This offense, they just got to stay on the field. They got to put a drive together and get some balance going, running and throwing the ball.
On 3rd down, he drops to throw. Using the back as a receiver on the screen. They make the stop about 4 yards short of the 1st down. And the Gamecocks will call on their punt team. Now on the return. He's brought down, but a really solid effort to pick up every bit of yardage he could on the punt return. And Auburn is ready to go back to work on offense. Give to the running back. How about that elusiveness? He's got space. And there they go again. Another huge gain on the ground. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. We thought we might see some of this. They'll go to the Wildcat formation here. Snap to the back. They finally make the stop, and the defense out of sorts against that Wildcat, and they give up a big play. The give on the inside. We'll give him a couple on that one. 2nd and 8 coming up. Win with the run. running game on first down, now back at it. Off the play fake. Here's the pressure. And the rush will get to him at the 25.
And this defense doing a really good job with situational football. Both drives. Last drive gave up some yards, 0 points. This drive forcing a 3rd and long.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, you'll have to turn it loose deep. And it's caught! Touchdown, Tigers! They give themselves a little more cushion as they try to reel off their 4th straight win.
And a lot of times late in football games, you'll see offenses get really, really conservative with the lead. I like how this offense didn't go against the clock. They stayed within themselves. They stayed true to who they were. And now, big-time advantage, big-time lead, up by 17 in the 4th quarter.
On to attempt the try. And now with the extra point, they're up by 18 here in the 4th. Kickoff unit getting some extra work as this lead has really grown.
South Carolina, 20.
Out of the end zone. And the returner is stopped. South Carolina ready to go on the attack in another offensive odyssey. They've punted the last 3 times they've had it, and now really needing to put a score on the board on this possession. Stopped in the backfield. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. To the air on 2nd down. Makes the grab on the left. They make the stop, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what that's all about.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
You just can't hit the quarterback like that. That is a dumb play, and the defender got caught red-handed. Looking downfield on 1st down. And the pass is incomplete, but it might not matter. Flag is down, and it looked as if the defense was roughing up that receiver. How many times do you think they're going to run that one back in film study? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's a penalty. That's a penalty. That's a penalty. It'll be a long film study for him. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple. The Gamecocks now with a long way to go to pick up the 1st down. Wants to fire on 2nd down. And he just threw that one away. Safe move. Didn't see anything. Lived to play another play. Got quite a ways to go to keep this drive going. It's 3rd down from the 45. From the gun, wants to pass. Had to get rid of it quickly. Another incompletion on 3rd down. Coach has no choice here. The offense has to stay on the field, down multiple possessions this late. 4th down attempt coming. Fires deep toward the end zone. And it's incomplete, and this defense makes a 4th down stop. Wide receiver going in motion. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. A strike downfield. He's brought down, but he's got him inside the 10. 1st and goal from the 8.
Well, it really just feels like they are trying to make a statement to everybody in college football. They've got a lead, they've got it late, and they are still putting it on this defense. They are still letting it fly. They're airing it out, trying to light up this scoreboard.
With the run on 1st and goal. Touchdown, Auburn! And the beatdown has ensued. They add on another one, and they're about to push their record to 5-1.
Wow, this offense, they have a lot of faith in this running back, knowing if they get down in this area of the field, he can get it done and he can answer the bell. 2 rushing touchdowns already for this offense.
Lining up for the PAT. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Guys, let's take a look at what's happening in a great top 25 matchup. TCU is running away with this one thanks to an offense that hasn't been stopped since that group stepped off the bus. They're up by 21 over Arizona State. We'll circle back. If anything big happens, you should know about in this one, the Big 12, or anywhere else. Ben?
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. Back to pass. And the pass is incomplete thanks to a big hit. Not exactly the ideal situation for this offense. 3rd and long, backed up inside their 20. From the gun, wants to pass. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up. And the Gamecocks will line up to punt it away. Let's see if he can help the coverage team out with this one. Wants to return it. They make the stop, and that is exactly what you want out of your punt cover unit. And now here comes that Auburn offense onto the field again. This offense has really been clicking in the game so far, Jesse.
No doubt.
There he goes. And they are finding some space in this defense. He's got it down to the 25.
Fresh legs, man, and it is showing. Of course, this team had the bye last week, and you're seeing it right now late in the game, running the football, imposing their will against the defense that looks tired. Of course, they had to play last week, and you're seeing that right now.
Off the play fake on first down. The throw. Pressure is on the way, and the pressure has arrived, and down he goes at the 30.
What a great play by the defensive tackle. Look, sacks aren't just for very athletic, long defensive ends. These D tackles, man, they use their strength. They push linemen back in the pocket, collapse it, and come away with the sack.
The Tigers with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. 2nd down, he'll throw it. Gets it out quickly. And they get to him and knock him down to prevent a big gain. Facing 3rd and long from the 21 and hoping not to settle for a field goal. From the gun, wants to pass. Got his man downfield. And they're going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their total. How about this Tiger quarterback etching his name alongside the greats and maybe wearing out Auburn with extra push-ups after all these points?
And you just think about those guys having those kind of days as Nick Marshall, Cam Newton, just superstars at the position. That's what kind of day he's having so far.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And the extra point was good as they finished the drive. Quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. He'll start the return inside his 5. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. Going to lose yardage, nowhere to run as he is forced out of bounds. Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. Looking to fire. A 2-minute timeout arrives, and we have certainly seen miracles in college football, and they will certainly need one here. You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. Trying to set up the screen. Found enough room to cross the 25 and out to the 27-yard line. That's not enough to move the chains. It'll be 4th down. He'll try to field the punt and bring it back. They're able to put a stop to that return right at the 30-yard line. They'll put the ball in play from their own 30-yard line. The give and tick, 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 tick. Hard-nosed, determined effort to work his way up to the 35-yard line. Halfway there on 1st down, it's 2nd and 5. He'll pull it on the read. Oh, what a move. And he was able to shed a tackle and pick up the 1st down before they finally get him on the ground.
And that's a 1st 10 for the offense.
Just complete and utter dominance in this one. Outplayed their opponent and took care of business.
Yeah, total domination in all three phases of the game. Offense, defense, and special teams. This team came ready to play, and man, it was pedal to the metal right from the opening kickoff.
And that's how you like it. Forget the close games, forget the heartbreakers, this play could decide it. Just frying pan, meat face, ball game over.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.